all things said and done with MI, where do they stand? Surely they can't finish 10th again.
Oh man, it's tricky because they've got 5 superstars.
Who bowls the death with Bumrah is more of a question. I don't see Hardik Pandya.
If they don't get those power play wickets, Bumrah has too much to do.
Let's talk about Mumbai Indians because they've just got back Sachin Tendulkar's son. Not Sachin himself, but Sachin Tendulkar's son, 30 lakh Sachin Tendulkar's back with them. They also got Bolt. They wanted Bhuvi at one point in time. They got Deepak Chahar. They have Bumrah. They have all those amazing buys and who they retained. Akshay, I'll start with you here in terms of Mumbai. First of all, what have they been doing off late? Let me just tell you what their squad looks like for people listening in right now. Because who is Bevan Jacobs? They've got him as a batter. He's an international pro. Ryan Rickleton, there's one more batter over there, wicketkeeper in particular. Speaking of wicketkeepers, they have Robin Mins and Krishnan Srijit, who apparently has been doing some good things domestically. Then in terms of all-rounders, Naman Dheer for 5.25 was an RTM. Raj Bava, many people who thought failed in Punjab, probably is now resuscitated, revived in Mumbai. Will Jacks, who they of course got off RCB. Mitch Santner went under the radar, but now he doesn't play for CSK. He will be one of those players to play in the El Clasico one way or the other. And then you look at their bowlers, right? Allah Ghazanfar, that's one name that you wanted, Akshay, and he's gone to MI. Reece Topley, good old Reece Topley, gone there. Trent Bolt, Karan Sharma, Deepak Chahar, and of course Satya Narayan Raju. So all things said and done with MI, where do they stand? Surely they can't finish 10th again.
I mean, that's a tricky one to answer, to be honest. I'm just
Surely. Bye. Come on.
I mean, not just about 10th and all of that. Of course, there's a lot more that goes on behind the scenes. But just looking at some of the names they have, they've got some gun options. And by the way, Krishnan Srijit is KL Srijit from Krishnan is KL Srijit from Karnataka. It's just the nomenclature, and that's why people might get confused. So that's a solid buy. He's been in great run of form. Recently scored a 40 ball 72 against Uttarakhand as well. So there might be a bit of that recency bias, but at 30 lakhs, you're not complaining. And yeah, coming now to, of course, Mumbai's 11 or Mumbai's options. Oh man, it's tricky because they've got 5 superstars. So that itself, clouds your judgment. You've got Sky, you've got Tilak Verma, you've got Hardik Pandya, you've got Rohit Sharma, Jasprit Bumrah. So invariably, you look at those names and you wonder, okay, you know what? They've got a solid Indian core now. Add the likes of Naman Dheer to that. They've also chipped in with a few decent uncapped options. So it isn't too bad. At least that's what you would think on paper. But I still think there's like the overseas picks they've gone for. Will Jacks, to be honest, is going to do more harm than good, according to me. I just don't know how does he fit in, because they need a keeper. And as things stand, from what I can understand, Ryan Rickleton is the only one who can start for them actively. They might have gone for a couple more keeping options. I'm just trying to confirm if there are any. Bevan Jacobs is a keeping option. He's an uncapped wicket keeper from New Zealand.
Robin Mins.
Robin Mins again. But are these names first 11 starters? I'm not sure. Robin Mins himself is a top order batter. So I'm not sure if you're going to do that. If you want to open Rickleton with Rohit, you can't have Will Jacks batting in the middle order because your middle order is already packed with Naman Dheer, Tilak Verma, Sky, Hardik Pandya. So where do you bat Rickleton then? So it is going to be slightly tricky. They've got to figure their options out. In terms of spinners, Allah Ghazanfar solves a huge problem for them. They've not had a gun spinner for a while now. The entirety of the last auction cycle, and then Rahul Chahar, if you want to consider, was probably their last gun spinner. And I don't know if that's saying much. So that definitely is a huge pick. They went after Hasranga as well. For some reason, they decided to back out of it at 5 crores. I felt they could have gone for him. But Allah Ghazanfar is definitely a great addition. Trent Bolt is someone I personally think is not the greatest advice, especially at that price point. He went to MI for 12.5 crores. I still think he's very dimensional in the way in what he offers. He's primarily a new ball bowler. I know he didn't do too badly in the last cycle at the back end, but I'm not expecting him to be able to replicate that because he's not done much of that before. MI will be hoping he replicates what he did way back in 2020. He's on the wrong side of 30s, so I'm not sure if he can do that. And then there's Deepak Chahar. The less is said about him, the better. I mean, we all know there's injuries. There's also the way he bowled last season. He had chuck injuries. You're a new ball bowler who knows that your strengths are your in-swingers and out-swingers, and yet this chap decides that he'll rely on slow ones and bouncers in the power play with the new ball. So I'm not sure if that's the kind of guy I'd want to pay 9.25 crores and have him at Mumbai. So Deepak Chahar, Trent Bolt, Bumrah, Allah Ghazanfar, Karan Sharma, Hardik Pandya as well, of course. That's a bowling attack that would make me go, okay, Jasprit Bumrah, 4 overs, none for 15. I'm fine with it. I've got 16 more overs where I can maximize. Maybe add Ghazanfar's 4 overs so that in case his mystery turns out to be something that batters can't find out. Sure, add 8 overs, say 40 runs and no more than a wicket. I can still easily score 130, 140, maybe even 150 runs of the remaining 12 overs and take care of things. So that's how I would be looking at it if I were the opponent. So I'm not sure how that bowling is working. Santner's there as an option, but how does he fit in? I'm not sure. They've got options. They've even gone for Lizard Williams, by the way. But all in all, I don't know. They've got options, but I just don't know how. I don't see it coming together as a coherent 11. That's how I'm looking at it.
Okay, Nix, I'll get to your MI thoughts in just a bit, but let's just ask Dan really quickly. Dan, Akshay threw a lot of light in the bowling, and understandably so, but their batting with Will Jacks now, of course, a purchase, so much so that he had to go shake hands with the RCB table, Mr. Ambani. Do you think Jacks is a definite starter over there? And again, what are your thoughts towards MI?
Yeah, I think that Jacks is a pretty likely starter unless they really are struggling with fitting in a viable wicket keeper into the 12. It's the Mumbai decisions are all stem from the fact that they retained 5 players and spent a lot of money prior to the auction. And as usual, Bumrah is their only bowler before the auction, and so they're playing catch up with a small budget on a bowling attack. It's almost like they don't learn from their previous mistakes. And saying that, though, I kind of think that the one that they've just about cobbled together is okay. I definitely see Santner playing more than he did at CSK. I think that he fits in reasonably well into this Mumbai side with him and Ghazanfar as the 2 spin options. I have concerns. We know that Deepak Chahar has had injury issues, and also in terms of role clarity, both him and Trent Bolt. I mean, that's a good. That's if both are fit and playing well, that is a good power play bowling attack. Who bowls the death with Bumrah is more of a question. I don't see Hardik Pandya being a viable death bowler. I think I look at him more as a middle overs option. So that they're going to have to make some compromises at the death. If you're looking through their bench, Topley is also more of a power play bowler than a death bowler. And basically, yeah, they're probably 1 or 2 injuries away from having to play Arjun Tendulkar, which is not really an ideal scenario. The backup players that they've picked from the overseas markets, I mean, and Rickleton has potential, but I still think that there's a big jump from what he's done so far to this level. Bevan John Jacobs, I think, has played 9 T20 games domestically in New Zealand. He's 22. He's been banging like 6 or 7, doesn't bowl or anything. So we're going down that Dhoni route of low match involvement, but without the proven quality that Dhoni has had throughout his career. It seems very, very much like a luxury pick. Lizard Williams, I don't think he adds anything to this group either. I would like to see Raj Bawa get more game time, but I think that's pretty tricky with what looks a pretty settled top 6 or 7 for Mumbai. And yeah, I think that they're probably going to pick something along the lines of Rohit, Jack, Sky, Tilak, Namandir, Hardik Pandya, Santner, Deepak Chahar, Ghazanfar, Bumrah, Bolt with Robin Minns as an impact sub wicket keeper or something like that. And it's interesting to see, actually, he got runs in the Syed Mushtaq Ali today for Jharkhand, 36 off 12 balls against, albeit a pretty mediocre Manipur side. So Robin Minns is maybe one player that we want to look out for in terms of him fitting into this Mumbai side.
Yeah, Minns, MI, Minns, you can do whatever you want to do with that. But Nix, as a CSK fan, 4 points easily in those El Clasicos in IPL 2025 to CSK, because the way Akshay and Dan have kind of given their analysis about MI. They don't seem like a contender, let alone a strong team. But where do you stand in them?
We burnt enough hands via lower order batters there, whether it is Pollard. But again, Pollard is a completely different T20 legend, so unfair to compare anyone to them. I agree with both that I don't know how have they thought this through with their bowling aspect. Usually with Bumrah, you see them going for two overseas pacers, and maybe their bigger problem was the new ball wickets because they tried Kwana Mafaka and so many other options which did not work out. So I think they are setting this by the fact that we need new ball wickets, which is why you saw them go hard for even Bhuvi, because Bhuvi is not a guy that you usually see for teams like MI bidding. They don't always go for people like him. So them getting after Deepak Chair maybe tells you that some work has been done, because they will need that. Because if they don't get those power play wickets, Bumrah has too much to do. But as Dan said, if Deepak is even half fit and he's told clearly that this is your job, if they can get a couple of wickets every single game, then they can hold back Bumrah for 3 at the back end. And I think they'll have to be very, very smart, and which is why I think they went very big on Allah Ghazanfar, because then he could be the guy that bowls the 16th over kind of for you, that he's held back for 1 over against their premier end overs hitter for the opposition. Then you have Bumrah to bowl to, and you would hope with hands and eyes closed that whether Hardik bowls that 1 over in the middle in the end, or it is Bolt who, if he's had 3 good overs, can maybe finish the 4th one earlier also. So I think bowling is something that they will have to manage. But batting, I think a lot will rely on if Rohit and Jax can get going, because the engine room is as good as anyone.
Sorry. Before you do the batting, I'm so sorry, Nick. Can you just answer JK, who's of course asked us if Ghazanfar could be a death overs option? Have you seen him do it for?
Yeah, I mean, you saw him do well against Bangladesh and South Africa very recently, the very first game that we played against them. So there is a lot of potential there. And what I think is maybe Hardik's role is going to increase with the ball. Though it will be absolutely hilarious if Hardik takes the new ball, because they have Deepak Chair and Trent Bolt to do it. So if Hardik is the guy who's bowling with the new ball, then there is trouble, because as Dan said, Hardik is the guy who will have to be the guy who have to bowl in the middle. I don't think Tilak, they should, if they get to Tilak and Will Jacks bowling, then this is done. So that is something that they will not want to do. So I think this team will rely a lot on a few individuals who will have to really step up and really have a great season. It will have to be Rohit, it will have to be Will Jacks, because they can't play reasonably Bolt and Bumrah. Or even Lizard Williams, Trent Bolt and Bumrah. That would make it very, very loose-headed in terms of the balance of the side. So some troubles there. Maybe reminiscent of how they've gone since the last few auction cycles, that batting is always sorted, but what do you do with the bowling? That has been a problem for them since two, 3 cycles now.
Okay, fine. So where are they finishing in IPL 25? Nikhil, you take it away, and then I'll ask Akshay and Dan.
Hopefully outside the top 4, safest options there. And rating-wise, I think maybe 6 or 7. They could have picked a lot many players. I don't know why they did not go harder for Phil Salt. Far better proven value would have solved their opening problem as well, with Rohit Sharma, intent guy at Wankhede, would a wicket keeper, so would do really well. So yeah, 5, 6 in terms of 6. Let's go there with the same position. I'm happy with it. No problem.
Okay, fair. Akshay, some people watching this in Bandra, maybe Ghatkopar, maybe Pedder Road, will be saying, "Bhai, we're getting the 6th IPL. Can you make a strong statement against no? Do you have them in your top 4? No."
Strong statement. I don't need to make a strong statement. This site speaks for itself. I don't need to do that. Like, the auction table has done that. Yeah, I mean, the 11 that JK has put out is pretty much my 11. Rohit, Jax, Tilak Sky, Namandhir, Hardik Pandya, Robin Mins, Santner, Ghazanfar, Chahar, Bumrah. Bolt would be my impact sub. This I felt was their most likely 11/12. But yeah, I mean, this bowling attack does not inspire a lot of confidence. Bumrah, I mean, Bolt and Chahar, both are bowlers that I feel can be taken down. I know Bolt did not too badly this year, but he is one of those bowlers that oppositions wouldn't feel threatened by. That's how I look at it. Same is the case with Deepak Chahar. And yeah, batting, of course, batting is going to be their strength, and they'll hope that their batters do bulk of the damage when it comes to winning games. And I'll say bottom 4 for sure. I'm just trying to think. I'm probably naming everyone in the bottom half. So who is reaching the playoffs? So
Exactly.
yeah, I have 4 teams. I have 4 teams in the playoffs. I have 4 teams. I've named 2 of them so far. And I'll actually say Punjab. I said 5th or 6th. I'll actually include Punjab as well. I'll do a bold call and say Punjab in my top 4.
Play bold indeed. Dan, wrap up Mumbai with you. Can you give their fans any hope?
Well, yeah, but they're going to have to roll back the years. I think that they could be really struggling. I also think that this is a franchise with what they've spent and the retentions that could be worse in year 3 than in year 1. The bench looks like just a collection of individuals and a bit of a mess. But then they do have match winners, you know. A team with Sky, a team with Tilak Varma, a team with Jasprit Bumrah as well. I mean, like, yeah, that's these guys are not just world-class players, but they're also players who can perform for them through the cycle. But they look a bit of an unbalanced mess right now. They continually spend too much money on their marquee players who they don't want to let go. And I think it's going to be a struggle for them. I can see them sort of 7th to 10th again, that kind of region, with like I said, LSG and Punjab kind of in that bracket. A 5 out of 10 for them at auction because they did have a tricky job with their purse.
Okay, love those numbers in terms of not, of course, holding back.